Hey, how y'all doing? Harvey here. Finally back in the motorhome after being off working for a few weeks. If you saw a previous video that I made, you'd know that the front vent on the motorhome had been broken to pieces by some kids that got up on the roof. Now that I'm back, I have since ordered some vents. I've got the vents in, and we're going to take a look at repairing them. Thanks for tuning in, and it'll probably be okay. Here we are looking at the broken vent cover. And if we take a look at this thing, you look at the mechanism here, you'll see this part of the mechanism right here, okay? And let me see if I can get a better shot right here, right along here. It's got the slot in it with the big hole. Okay, that actually is part of the vent cover itself. It's just that the vent cover's been broken off of it. And if we take a look down, you'll see this crank mechanism here, and mine is missing the screw actually. And if I grab this handle and I put it on here, we crank it, what happens is the mechanism moves up. Okay, but it only moves up so far. Now, in order to take the vent off of the mechanism there, we have to actually loosen it up to where this little jewel right here will slip through the hole in this mechanism, in that bracket, excuse me, and we'll be able to take the rest of the mechanism off, the rest of the vent off. Now the hinge for the vent is over on this side right up here, up on the roof. I'm going to have to get up on the roof to take that off. If we actually take a look at a vent, this is what we're looking at right here. This is the bracket that I was talking about with the hole in it, okay? And then this is the hinge right here. And once we get up top, we'll look at taking that off. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the crank mechanism from that bracket. Okay, what I'm going to do is I have to remove the two screws from the crank mechanism. In order to this is the crank mechanism, I need to loosen these two screws. There's one here and one here. In order to loosen its linkage, to where its linkage can slide up a little bit more and actually take this little holder through the hole in the bracket for the vent. So let me go ahead and take those screws out. I got my handy dandy cheap drill here, and I really love, because it is perfect for what I'm doing. And it cost like 40 bucks. And I was able to get an extra battery and an extra charger for it, like 20 bucks. And I cannot complain about that. So I took the two screws out. And you notice when I took the screws out that the whole mechanism loosened up and kind of fell. And look at that. You see how it just kind of fell out of there? That little disc fits right in that hole. Slides along there. And when we loosen it, we have to loosen it so we can actually get the rest of the vent off. If we take a look, you can actually see, try to turn this a little if I can, I got it on the tripod. You can actually see that the mechanism, or the bracket, excuse me, is actually free now, and it's actually part of the hinge on what's left of the vent. So what I need to do now is get up on top of the roof and put the new vent on and take the old vent off. Okay, here we are up on the roof, and you can see the broken vent. And if I get a little closer here, I'm going to go ahead and lift up. This is that bracket I was talking about, that linkage for the vent. And you can see there's a lot of acorns and whatnot. This thing's parked underneath the oak tree, obviously. And if you look at the way the hinge is put together, it's got a tab on either end of the vent hinge. And what I'll be doing is I'll be bending one of the tabs out so I can slide the vent hinge off of there. And then I'll slide the other vent hinge for the new one onto there. And I'll bend the two tabs in, and we'll be done. We'll be able to go down into the motorhome and go ahead and hook up the linkage and whatnot. So that's it. Okay, you can see I cleaned some of the debris from around the vent here so I can more readily get into it. I'm going to go ahead and lift this bracket up, and you'll see right here I'm going to attempt to bend the little tab up so I can slide this off. Now somebody was very proud of their tab bending ability, and they went ahead and bent this thing. It was nearly impossible to get off. Hopefully I got it to where I can slide that off now, and I don't. So try to get a little bit more. It's what it needs to do is slide up to where this hinge can slide in this channel. And they rolled this thing. They rolled it. I mean, literally rolled it like kind of like an old sardine can, you know, with the sardine can key there. And okay, there we go. We got it. And I'm going to take my broom. I'm going to move this back a little bit. Hold on. Ah, we're moving back. Ah! Okay, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and sweep that a little more. Get more of that grime and dirt and nasties out of there. And I'll go ahead and take and slide my new vent hinge into where the old vent hinge was. So we just stick this in here and it just slides on in. And what I'll have to do, let me get this in there. Okay, almost in. Okay, now we can see that I don't know if you can see that in the camera. I'll bring it up closer. You can see where the end of the hinge is split right there. And I'll be bending that little tab in, and hopefully you'll be able to see that okay. Let me bring this around, and I'm going to go ahead and use the same screwdriver that I used to bend the other one out to bend that one in. And I actually have both vents to replace on this, but I'll only take you guys through the torture of the one. I bend that down, and it doesn't have to be bent and twisted and rolled and all that kind of stuff that whoever did the other one did. Now, go ahead and move that over a little bit again, if I can. There we go. So I get the other tab on this side, see? Now, look at that. How you like that stuff? Huh? Uh-oh. Dropping acorns into the camper. Leaves. Now we take a look. We'll see our new vent. Make sure it comes up and down easily. Looking good. And I'm going to go back underneath, hook the linkage back up, screw the gear mechanism back in, and we're done. Okay, here I am back in the motorhome. I came inside to hook up the linkage for the new vent, and then screw the gear mechanism back in. Now, right up in this area, if you can see where my hand is, right along the inside edge of the vent, there's a rubber seal, and I noticed when I was up there that rubber seal was pretty bad. It's not broken up or coming off anywhere, but it's pretty bad, and the new vents covers didn't come with the seal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go online and actually look for some of those seals, and I may or may not make a video on putting those in. It's kind of a self-explanatory thing. It just, you know, just fits up there. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to fit the linkage back together and put the screws in, and we will be done. And I'm all kinds of happy about that. As I always say, it'll probably be okay. So I bring this up, hoping you can all see that. Let me see. And it just hooks in, like I showed you earlier. I got my trusty drill here. Some screws in. I drill them in. You always want to be careful when screwing screws in or anything like that with if you don't know, with even a cheap, battery screwdriver or a actual
power screwdriver. They can fool you, and you don't want to strip anything out. I work as a mechanic, and we use some pretty heavy duty impact guns, and we can really mess some stuff up with those. So you always want to use a little finesse when using this type of equipment. You don't want to just put the screw in and hit the button and go, so to speak. Anyway, so I put this other screw in right here. Come in with it, kind of tap it in, nice and snug. With my cheap drill, I'd like to point out that this drill has graduated torque settings. I mean, I can set weaker or stronger torque settings. I have it on the strongest torque setting right now. I'm used to using this type of equipment, so I don't worry too much about torque settings. I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to tear anything up. So I'm going to go ahead and put the handle on here. And a word about this handle, I don't have a screw to fit this handle, so I'm just going to have to put it on and crank it down. And there we are. Vent cover replaced. Catastrophe avoided. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and you notice that the screen is torn up here. I'm going to have to put in another screen. I have some more screen. I cut a little hole in it here. It's just been broken, and it's actually got a bezel, or if you want to call it a ring, that goes around this thing. I can't find it at the moment. Ah, there it is. Okay. Everything is buried in my pile of caca here. And anyway, this will go around it like so. It's been broken, but I think I'll eventually end up replacing this vent. Now the back vent needs a cover as well. The back vent by the bedroom and bathroom has a fan motor in it. Now take you back there and give you a quick look at that, but I'm not going to change that one today because it's hot and I'm lazy, and I'm in South Louisiana where it's miserably humid. And I'll see you in a minute. Here we are looking at the back vent, and you can see there's a fan. The fan won't have anything to do with the way I change this. It's the same exact mechanism as the front one. This particular vent is beginning to kind of crumble apart. It's been eaten up by the sun and whatnot, so I'll be replacing that in the next day or two. And I'd like to notice that the screen on this particular unit is still intact. Replacing the vent on this, even though there's a fan, is exactly the same as replacing the front one, so there's really no reason for me to go over that again. But I'm sure all will be well. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed replacing the motorhome vent with me. You can keep some of the water out now, and it's a lot of fun. Now this job, this particular repair, if I hadn't been videoing this thing, it would have taken me all of maybe 15 minutes to complete. It's not that bad of a repair. Now within the next day or two, I'm going to be replacing the tail light, brake, signal light assembly on this thing. I ordered a couple of tail lights last time I was home a few weeks ago, and they've come in, and I'm going to have to make some plates, metal plates, to adapt them to the camper. And tomorrow or the next day, depending on the weather, I'll be getting that done, and I'll be making a video. Be appreciated if you'd hit like and subscribe, and maybe turn on notifications so you can be notified when I'm, actually putting a video out. There's about 2 weeks out of the month I won't be able to be out here working on the motorhome, so my videos won't be every day or every other day. I'm going to try to film enough content when I'm home to where I can actually put one video a week out. But we'll see. And thank you all for watching. It'll probably be okay.